Good morning, friends. I'm going to do a little garden update for all of you. Hi, friends. So there you are. Or rather, here I am, right? Because I've been missing in action for quite some time. And why? Well, I've been getting a lot of messages and people asking me. And all I've just told everybody is I'm going to be back soon. And so I'm back. But this video, I'm not talking about anything except my garden update and my flowers and my herbs and how I changed things up this year. So I'm going to be taking you here in my backyard. We'll go out to the garden and then we'll go to the front. Now this year, I wasn't going to put in a garden, you know, my fenced in area where I grow all my veggies. I wasn't going to do that. I just didn't want to deal with weeds and all of that sort of thing. So I got that black landscaping material that you put down and, you know, blocks the weeds and everything. And I thought, well, let me just put this down because then I won't have weeds and grass and all of that stuff to deal with. Even though I don't have any plants, you know, things will still grow back there. So I thought it'll stop it. And then once it was down for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, I thought, you know something? I'm going to go get some plants. I'll just cut little holes in here, put the plants in there, and let's see what happens. And actually, this is the best way to garden because are there weeds and grass that grows a little bit here and there? It's usually around the plants, and so you just pluck them up. So I'll take you out there. Actually, I think I'm going to garden this way from now on. So the other thing that I did different this year, instead of putting like a couple pots that have a few different type of herbs, I decided instead of doing all different flowers and flower pots back here like I normally do, I thought I'll do a random few with flowers and the rest I'm going to do with herbs. And I've already started to harvest some of my herbs. I've harvested the basil and the cilantro, and I'm getting ready this week to harvest some more, dry them out, and just keep doing it all summer. So let's take a look. Let's see. So here on my deck, and don't mind my deck, you're going to see I've got paint that started coming off and everything, especially when we did some pressure washing, but that's okay because we haven't stained this deck and probably this is the third summer, so you know it needs it here and there. Usually it's the high traffic areas, other places, you know, it's okay, but all here we're going to do that. And here he put new steps down there because our steps were beginning to rot out, so that's all different. Okay, so I have a hibiscus, and I love these flowers. The only thing is, the flowers come out, and they're out for a day. And then, see, like this, tomorrow I'll come outside, it'll all be twisted and wilted. These just came out, and that one just came out. Same thing. But if you keep your hibiscus, you know, moist and so forth, you constantly get new buds. So you constantly have hibiscus. And there's another one trying to open up right there. And then I love this plant here. The thing is with hibiscus that I'm going to be doing this summer is I'm going to be making hibiscus tea. Yeah, you can make hibiscus tea. You just take your boiling water and you pour it over your hibiscus flower and you let it steep. And it's supposed to be really good. I haven't had it yet. However, I have seen in some stores, they're starting to sell now hibiscus tea in jars, and I think I saw them over at Costco, one of our Costco's. We have two close by me, and one of them had it, and I didn't buy it because it was a lot of money. So, and that's because, you know, hibiscus, well, like I say, the flowers come out, they're only out for a day. It's probably the harvesting and, you know, getting all the flowers and all of that. I don't know because I don't do that sort of a business. All I know is that you can make tea with the flowers, so I'm going to start doing that. My aloe has started to turn a little bit rusty colored. It's green, but like the outer leaves, and I think it's because when I brought it out we were still having some cold nights. It wasn't freezing, but it was cold nonetheless, and I think that's what turned it to the colors. It's still thriving, it's still good, and these are new growth here, and they're all still nice and green. Then I have this, I gotta come out and deadhead these little things. Then I have a rosemary over here, And I have some dill here. And then I always put some marigolds out. This is a cilantro. That's a cilantro. And this cilantro, it immediately started getting all the flowers. I keep plucking all the flowers off. This one is going to seed. I don't know what's up with this plant, but I'm going to look for some more cilantro at the store and put that in here and get these out. This one's behaved very well. It hasn't tried to go to seed or anything. That hostas, that was from last year, and it came back because I just left it in the pot. And this is mint, and you can see the outer edge of the pot here. Everything was all nice contained within the inside perimeter of this edge, and now it's spilling out all over the place because mint goes crazy. And that's why when Sandy has mint, she grows it in pots. I lived in Chicago. I had mint. I think I planted 2 plants. I put them at the back side of my house, and it took over, and it's a perennial, so it comes back. The following summer, I mean, it was a massive area. It was big and bushy, just mint, mint, mint. And if you don't take care of it, it will continue to grow, grow, grow. So I had to dig it all out, and you have to go like way down. You have to get all the root and get it all out. So anyway, I decided if I was going to have any more mint, and I do like mint because I like to put it in tea, iced tea or hot tea. I grow it in pots now. So I am getting ready to harvest some more of my herbs this week. And mint is going to be one of those herbs that I harvest, as you can see. So like these all need to be cut down. These top parts need to be brought in, wash, dry the leaves, you know, that sort of thing. I have 3 different types of mint in here because it was a combo: chocolate mint, peppermint, and sweet mint. So I'll be taking care of that this week. This pot just has some flowers in it. Over here, I have basil here and here. I use a lot of basil because I make a lot of Italian food and sauce and so forth. This is parsley. And I've already harvested parsley. I've already harvested basil. What I do is, in my food processor, I put an onion in there. And, well, depending on how much. If you had a whole bunch, you could put a couple onions. But for what I had, I just used 1 onion and the parsley that I had and the basil, and you just wash your leaves and everything, dry them off a little bit, throw them in your food processor with the onion, whip it all up. Some people put them in ice cube trays, but you can also put them, if you have the little mini muffin tins, I put mine in that. And then you stick them in the freezer, and then they get really hard, and then after they're hard, you just pop them out, put them in a Ziploc bag, and then when you make your sauce, you just take a couple of them out, put it in, and then you already have your onion, your basil, and parsley. So if you want to add oregano, you can do that. I didn't put oregano in because I didn't have any oregano just yet. And oregano is another herb. When you grow it, it will start going bonkers, and so will thyme. I used to have thyme here. I had to cut it back. It was so out of control. And there's still some new leaves here, and the roots are still there. So this is all going to come back here eventually. So this has been here, I want to say, about 4 or 5 years. And it's big and bushy, and it was cascading all the way down and everything. And it was just time to cut it back. So that's what I did that just yesterday. So over here, I have some Mexican lavender and lantana. These don't take much watering at all. They need like water once a week. Then there's, I don't know what that is, but we got that one. And this is a lupine. My lupine out front is doing well. This one is not. I don't know why. And we've already trimmed all of our bushes. Remember my rose bush that it used to just be so full, it was out of control, it kept growing over into the walkway. The more that you cut it off, it was still hanging over the walkway a little bit. So all of that has been cut back, and actually we didn't do that, nature did it on its own. My bench, this is, I don't know, the 5th summer I think I've had this bench, and as you can tell, it's very weather worn. So my next project is to come out here and get this all painted. So I'll be doing that, and yeah, so everything's been cut back, This is my lilac. I did have a landscaper come to cut a few of our things back because they were so high. This thing was, seriously, it was this high. It was going into my crepe myrtle. And I asked them to cut it down a few feet. They brought it all the way down here like this. It's probably going to take about 3 more seasons before this grows the way that it should, that I can get flowers, because I mean, they really whacked this thing down too far. I was not happy about that at all. But I don't know, you think that landscapers, they would know about the bushes and things like that, but I don't think all of them do. So anyway, let's go back up here. And this is a plant. I've actually had this for, it's about 1.5 years old now. I had it inside during the winter and I brought it back out. This is one of those plants that doesn't like a lot of rain, and we've had a ton of rain. I did have it sitting over this way, but I had to bring it over here so that the pergola and the tree leaves would kind of shelter it a little bit. So I don't know. I'm thinking I might have to take this to the front. We'll see. Carly and I, a few days ago, actually it's been maybe about 3 or 4 days ago, we took these window boxes and we decided to put radishes in them. So they're already sprouting. Within like a couple days they already started to sprout. So we'll be getting radishes. They take from the time that you plant them till you can harvest, seriously, about 3 weeks. So I left my packet of radish seeds over there. So when we harvest these, I can put them back in. My pressure washer is over at our new church. We were doing pressure washing, and this, because of the winter, I need to pressure wash this rug here. The other ones, they're not too terribly bad, but this one, I gotta take care of that. I was able to pressure wash all of this stuff. It had that green stuff that grows on it through the winter, and so that's pretty basically what this stuff is here. I have, this is a perennial. This comes back every year. People always compliment me on this plant, saying it looks like cotton candy, and on a gorgeous sunny day, it does. This is another one of these yellow flowers. They're not daisies. I don't know what they're called. And that's a begonia there. And so this is the back deck. Oh, this is a yucca or yucca. How do you say it? Yucca or yucca tree. And then I have a palm tree, and that palm tree actually has been getting too much rain as well. I'm gonna have to move it to the front. I've got red coming in here, and I think it's because it's got too much water. Just like you got that rust reddish color that's in the what is that? Aloe vera. So anyway, I think I'm gonna have to move that one too. And then I just noticed this when I was coming over this way. That is a bird's nest. So, I don't know. Some bird must have been homing up here and decided not to home there anymore and threw their nest out. So I'll have to get that up. So let's go now to the garden. Oh, and then there's this one too. I just bought this a week ago. And again, everything was contained mostly within the perimeter here, and it's already cascading over. This is thyme, this is oregano, this is rosemary, and it's already started to just take off. So again, that's what I'm going to be doing when I harvest my my other herbs from over there, the mint especially. I'm going to cut some of this back and start drying this out. And what I'm going to do, as I dry them out, I'll have Ziploc bags. Obviously, you got to label what's in it. And I'm going to start out with Ziploc bags and keep everything. Once you dry them out completely, they have to be dried out completely. If there's any moisture, they'll start to mold. It has to be completely dried out. And I'm not using my dehydrator. If you just let them sit out on your counter or on a table somewhere for, I don't know, 4 days or so, they dry out really well. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to let them dry naturally. Some people put them in the sun oven, some people, and I have one of those. I thought about it and I thought, nah. Sometimes people dry them out in an oven, but you can just let them dry out seriously in your house, on a counter or on a table. I'm going to do that. Put everything in its own Ziploc bag. And then through the summer, as the bag starts getting full, then you can start putting them in like the smaller mason jars, and I'll start doing that. And then if you just keep doing this all through the summer, you should have a good amount of herbs that you can use through the winter. So that's just a little tip. That's what I'm going to do. And now let's go out to the garden. Let's look at this first. If you follow me on Instagram, you know we have this pool over here. Alex was so enjoying himself. But because this isn't level, and we knew it wasn't level, we thought it'll be okay. It'll be a little shallower at one end, higher at this end, shallow here. But with all the rains that we had, it filled up over on that side over there. And when the water started to spill over, like it dented the top part of it. And I came out like the next day and it's like the whole thing was drained out. So we have to put grass seed in here. We're going to refill this area with the grass seed. This is more level. I was going to put it here, but I didn't want to have Harry worry about having to get the tractor around it. I thought this was more out of the way, but we're going to put it here this next time, and we're going to get all of this filled in. And then actually September, when we're done with the pool, we put it away. This is going to look like that, so we'll have to do the same thing, and that'll be okay because we'll be getting fall rains, so that'll be fine. I have my small grapevine on this end, and I had some cilantro that went to seed on its own from last year and came back. And out here also, I was going to put some flowers, and then I thought, nah. And I didn't really have to, because one day when I was out here doing some yard work, I looked over and I saw these little plants coming up, and I saw the leaves, what they look like, and I thought, these are squash. These are some sort of squash. I don't know what they are. Is it zucchini? I don't think so. Is it yellow squash? Is it pumpkins? I don't know. So this is going to be a surprise for us until some squash starts to grow. And the vine has already started to go in this way. But see, this is the landscaping mats that we put down. This is so wonderful. I haven't had to come out here to like weed. Like every now and then you see some grass poke through. Especially where you put the little staples that go down, like things will try to go through there. Here, I forget what happened here, but this got a couple holes in it. I forget what happened, but you can see some grasses trying to come through there. Off this plant, we picked our first tomato yesterday. It was nice and red. So I have a few tomatoes, a couple cherry tomatoes, some other tomatoes here, and we do have some little baby tomatoes, and then on these we have just flowers. These tomatoes come out, I don't know, probably July or August they'll come out. And then these next two plants are jalapenos, and we picked our first jalapeno when we picked that tomato. So we have two there, and no, three. I think there was three there. And then there's these little guys hanging from there. And then these two plants are just regular green bell peppers, and there's little flowers, little peppers, and there's a little pepper there. And we had some eggplant, and some bugs ate the leaves. So I went out and I picked these. These are spaghetti squash, so we'll see how those do. This is a green zucchini plant, which doesn't have any zucchinis on them. Flowers, but no zucchinis. This is a yellow zucchini, and there's all sorts of little zucchinis that are growing. And then this one over here is a yellow squash plant, and we have some there. One's already rotted, but there's a few growing there. We have lots of flowers. So these are doing okay. And then all the rest of this in here, these are green beans. Lots of little flowers are coming out on them, and you can see there's a couple little beans there. And I noticed this today because I haven't been out here in a few days. I came out here and look, here's another vine, and see how it's curling and everything? And I have no idea what this one is. So this is going to be a surprise too. So now I have a vine up here, but that's okay. This is my cucumber vine. Some of the leaves are looking a little wonky. I don't know what's going on there. I've got a little baby cucumber over there. This is that Japanese, there's a little one there too. This is that Japanese cucumber. I planted one of these 2 years ago, and seriously, I got like 100 or over 100 cucumbers. And the biggest one that I harvested, that I measured, it was like 17.5 inches long. It was huge. So this is more of that cilantro that's seeded on its own. And I think there's some dill. There's dill right there. I have a little kitty coming. And I didn't cut any of these dead branches off my hydrangea. I probably should come out here and break all of these off. My hydrangea is now starting to get flowers, and I have new flowers coming. But I do need to come out here and get rid of those sticks there. Okay, so let's go out the front door. So I have these. They're tropical plants, but they're low light plants that they don't take a lot of water. I think you only have to water like once a week, so that's nice. I do water, but then when I'm watering like this needs to be watered on a real hot day. It would have to be watered every day, but it's been kind of cool, so every other day is okay. But when I'm watering, I will put the mister on and I'll mist these plants. This is a foxglove, and I had 2 of them that were pretty tall. They died, the blooms obviously, so I deadheaded it. And this one's the only one that came back. The back one didn't come. I don't know why. So let's see. I had a plant just like this one last year, and we liked it so much. I went and I got another one. There's this, don't ask me what the name is. Well, wait a minute. I think I have the tag. Let's see. An orange Crosandra is what it's called. I like to save tags of plants I'm not sure about, like they're new to me, so I know how to water and so forth. And then I have 2 ferns like I did last year, and then this year I put one of these hanging baskets down here too. And then if you were over on Instagram, you saw my little lighted bottle. That's what it looks like in the daytime. Obviously, it's too light, but at night, this puts out a lot of light. So this is like a little night light when we come sit outside here. Carly and I like to come out in the summer. We sit out here and we have our ices. And this pillow is upside down. Okay. So then coming out here, I put some lantanas in. This plant and this one there, I got them in the spring. They said they bloom spring and summer. I don't think so. I think they were a spring plant, so, but I'm just going to leave them. This is another one of those Mexican heathers, and this one and this one I planted quite some time ago. They should have gotten bigger. I think they're begonias, and they didn't get bigger. I don't know if it's the soil that's in here they don't like, but this little plant there and this one, I forget what they're called, but they're also from Mexico, and they're like the lantanas and the heather, that they only need to be watered like once a week. If there's a lot of rains, it's okay, but as far as like through the summer, you only have to come out here and water like once a week, though I come out here about every day, every other day. Okay, so this is what it looks like, the front porch, and we trimmed all of this too. And then our flowering plant there, we trimmed all this up. These are perennials, they come back every year. They'll be getting flowers on them soon. We put this hostas and this hostas in, so those are new. I have this salvia that it's come back several summers now, and they were so pretty. I've had to deadhead them though because they, the blooms died off. This one down here, boink, never came back. So that's why I decided to put some hostas in. And the grass is doing very well. This is the lupine that I have here in the front that's doing really good. I have a couple of the blooms. I got to deadhead those back. This is another hostas that I planted, and it's flowered. This is one of those plants that I showed you in the front flower bed a moment ago, and I said that I think it's a spring plant. It's dying off. I don't know what's up with that, so I'm gonna have to find something else to put in its place. This is the same plant as that. That one lived, that one died. Go figure, I don't know. Then there's this, I think that's a dahlia. And then I put in a couple geraniums, and then that's a salvia. That one's been here for, I don't know how many years. So that's why it's pretty big and bushy. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get something else to put in here. Okay, so I'm inside my gate here. So this is my happy place. Really didn't do too much with it this year. That, I don't know what that is. I think that's some sort of a grass. My peonies, they were already in bloom. I've got to come and deadhead those, and they're done. I don't think they'll bloom again. And then there's these two hostas I put in a few years ago. They've gotten really big, and this one went to seed. I do have some clover in here. I've got to come clean that out too. These are what are they? The salvias are out front. What are these? I forget what they are. I'll try to put the name in here. It's escaping me. But anyway, we trimmed all of this up. They had the pretty blooms on them, but they were, getting ready to die off. And see, they were kind of dying off. So we went ahead and we trimmed everything back. And we trimmed our burning bush up. And then here's another one of these, the ones that look like cotton candy, and these are all little fresh blooms, so this is going to be really pretty here soon. These flowers, they've died off. They'll continue to bloom, but they start traveling over here into my walkway. So after the top blooms die off, I usually come back and clip them up a little bit. This is a hostas here. And I've got some clover in here. I don't know if I'll leave that there or if I'll pull them out. I need to get a new lamp because that one doesn't work anymore. I didn't put anything in that pot there. And all my other vines and everything are growing very nicely. And my roses, I don't know. I might end up pulling these out. Harry was gonna pull them out this year, and I said, nah. Like I said, this one, nature over the winter cut it back itself. I mean, everything was all dead. We had to cut the dead stuff off, and the living stuff was low. So that's good as long as they stay low like that. But I'm getting some beetles or some things coming in here and eating my leaves. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll see. I'm gonna have to come here, deadhead things, cut back some of these things to bring, the better leaves. But it looks like all the way down where I would be deadheading, there's eaten up leaves, so I don't know. That's important. You don't want bugs to eat your leaves, because if they eat your leaves, then you can't get blooms. So the leaves are very important. They're eating this too here. So anyway, so that's a new project I have to do, is paint that. That's my garden update, friends. And when I'll be back, I'm not sure. Hopefully here and there. I got another kitty. I just got to show you, Mr. Binks. He is 17 years old now. So yeah, he needs to be combed. He's a long-haired cat, and it's shedding season, so we got to take care of that. So when I'll be back, I'm not sure. Hopefully in some video at some point, I'll just give you a little rundown of life updates and things like that. One thing I will tell you, my husband retired back, it was the end of February, beginning of March, he retired. So he's been home, and so that's been nice having hubby home. We're planning trips. We got a vacation coming up in September, and we've been talking about going either to Europe or South America. We've been talking about going over to Africa, and when I go over there, I want to take a safari. So I don't know, we've just been talking about different things coming up on the agenda for us. And other than that, everything's well. Oh, Alex starts kindergarten. He just had his last day of school Wednesday, and he'll be off for 3 weeks, and then he'll go back for about another month, and then he's off again, and then he goes to kindergarten. I cannot believe it. So he'll be 5 in September. So anyway, that's it. That is my garden update, projects of things I've worked on, projects that I have to do, like painting and staining and more painting over here and all those lovely things. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.